The moon hung low over the icy plains, a pale silver light spilling across the jagged rocks and frozen ground. Commander Leora Vance stood at the edge of her shuttle, eyes scanning the horizon with a mixture of awe and caution. Her team of explorers had been sent to survey this remote moon of a gas giant, a place humans had visited only a handful of times. Nothing of importance had been reported here for decades. Yet reports of strange energy readings had pulled the team to this lonely place. Tonight, they would find out why. The shuttle's engines idled softly behind her. Its warm hum was comforting, almost like a heartbeat against the vast silence of the moon. Leora adjusted her gloves and motioned to the team. "Stay close. Sensors picked up something unusual in this sector. Move carefully." The explorers, 6 in total, followed her across the frozen terrain. Each step crunched against the hard ice, and the cold air bit through their suits despite the heating layers. The moon was silent except for the occasional groan of shifting ice. Then, faintly at first, a sound drifted across the plains, a low hum. It was soft, rhythmic, almost as if the land itself were breathing. Leora paused. Her visor fogged slightly as she leaned forward, trying to determine the source. The hum seemed to come from a depression ahead, half buried in ice. She motioned for the team to stop. "Do you hear that?" The others nodded, tension tightening their movements. "It sounds alive," whispered Dr. Soren, the team's xenobiologist. "Alive? It's probably just the ice settling," said Lieutenant Kara, always the skeptic. But even she frowned, uneasy. The hum had a quality that felt deliberate, not random. It had a rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. They reached the edge of the depression, and saw it then, a massive shape partially covered in ice. Jagged metal protruding like the bones of a sleeping giant. The vessel was enormous, larger than any ship humanity had built. Its surface shimmered faintly under the moonlight, and the hum grew louder, as though responding to their presence. Leora's breath caught. This isn't human," she said softly. Dr. Soren stepped forward, eyes wide behind his visor. "It's alien. Definitely alien. And it's not dead. There's something inside." The team exchanged wary glances. Humanity had found alien artifacts before, but nothing like this. Most discoveries were abandoned probes or ruins of long-lost civilizations. This vessel was intact, and the subtle movements along its surface suggested some form of life or intelligence within. "Commander," said Kara, her voice steady but low, "we need to be careful. We don't know what this is, or what it wants. For all we know, it could be dangerous." Leora nodded. "Agreed. We'll take it slow. Dr. Soren, start a scan. Let's see what we're dealing with." The xenobiologist crouched, placing a small scanner against the icy metal. A holographic projection sprang to life in the air above the device, showing faint energy readings pulsing rhythmically. "There's some kind of core," he said. "It's alive in a way, but unlike anything we've seen. It responds to our presence. The readings increase when we move closer." The hum seemed to grow stronger as they approached, almost like the vessel was aware of them, observing them. Leora felt a shiver of excitement mixed with caution. Humans had always been explorers, and this was the kind of discovery that defined their species: curious, daring, and willing to face the unknown. "All right," she said finally, turning to her team. "We're going in. Slowly. Everyone stay alert." They made their way to a gap in the ice that revealed an entrance to the vessel. It was narrow, but passable, and the hum was now louder, almost a song that resonated in their bones. As they stepped inside, the temperature shifted immediately. The bitter cold of the moon was replaced by a strange warmth, not uncomfortable, but alive. The walls seemed to breathe, pulsing gently with the rhythm of the hum. "This place, it's alive," whispered Dr. Soren. Leora's eyes scanned the corridors. Bioluminescent veins ran along the walls, glowing softly with a color that shifted subtly, almost like emotion. The corridors themselves seemed to adjust as they walked, narrowing here, widening there, as if guiding them deeper into the ship. Lieutenant Kara frowned. This is unsettling. It's like the ship knows where we are. Maybe it does, said Leora. And maybe that's okay. We're humans. We adapt. We learn. That's what sets us apart. If it wants to communicate, we'll try. They moved deeper, and the hum became almost musical, rising and falling in patterns that seemed deliberate. The air was thick with a strange energy, making their minds feel sharper, senses more alert. The vessel was testing them, Leora realized. It was assessing their reactions, their intentions. Suddenly, a doorway appeared ahead, not physically, but as if the corridor itself had opened. A soft light spilled through, warm and welcoming, yet alien. The team paused. Leora took a deep breath. Remember, she said. We are explorers, not conquerors. Show curiosity. Show respect. That is how humans have always met the unknown and survived. As they stepped through, the light revealed a vast chamber at the heart of the vessel. At its center was a core, a glowing sphere of energy that pulsed like a living heart. The hum was loudest here, enveloping them completely. Doctor, Soren approached cautiously, reaching out toward the sphere. Do not touch it, Leora warned, though she did not step forward. But the xenobiologist's hand hovered just above the surface. The sphere responded. Waves of light and energy spiraled outward, washing over the chamber. Leora felt a strange connection, as though the ship was probing her mind, gently, without aggression. It's communicating, Dr. Soren whispered. Not with words, but thoughts, images, feelings. I can see stars, planets, civilizations. It's showing me things we could never learn from books. Leora stepped closer, placing her hand near his shoulder. Careful. Let it guide us. We need to understand, not control. The core pulsed, brighter and faster, as if acknowledging her caution and respect. The hum shifted, almost in response to her heartbeat. She realized then that the vessel could sense their emotions, their intentions. Humans were unique in their combination of curiosity, empathy, and courage. Perhaps that was why it responded to them when it had ignored others, or failed to communicate with species less adaptable, less empathetic. Commander, Kara said, her voice tense. We need to decide. Do we stay and explore further, or return and report this to the council? Leora looked around at her team. Each face reflected awe, fear, and determination. We stay, she said finally. We are humans. We explore. We understand. That is our strength. But we do so carefully, with respect. That is what makes us capable of this moment. As they settled into the chamber, the vessel seemed to respond. The hum, becoming a gentle lullaby that resonated in their minds. The walls pulsed, guiding them, leading them toward knowledge, toward discovery. Leora understood that this was only the beginning. The vessel had chosen to reveal itself, and humans had the chance to learn, to bond, to rise to a challenge unlike any they had faced before. The night outside was cold and silent, but inside the vessel, life hummed, pulsed, and breathed. And for the first time in human history on this distant moon, Leora felt the immense weight of possibility. Humanity was not just exploring the stars, they were beginning to speak with them. The hum continued, soft and steady, a promise of knowledge, of connection, and of the future. And as the team settled in to observe, to learn, and to communicate, Leora realized that humans had never been so alive, so capable, so remarkable. Tonight, the old vessel had awakened, and in doing so, it had begun a bond that would shape the destiny of humankind. The moonlight outside fell across the frozen plains, gentle and unwavering, while inside, the vessel breathed, softly, like something inside had always been waiting. The core of the vessel pulsed steadily, a living heartbeat that seemed to resonate with the explorer's own. Leora Vance stood near the glowing sphere, watching as faint patterns of light traveled across its surface like streams of energy flowing through unseen veins. The hum had grown richer, layered, almost like a song. It filled the chamber, wrapping around every corner, touching every mind. Dr. Soren's eyes were wide with amazement. Commander, this is incredible. The core, it's showing me visions. Entire star systems, civilizations rising and falling, technologies we cannot yet imagine. And it feels like it's alive. Like it's thinking about us. While showing these things, Leora stepped closer, her gloved hand hovering near the pulsating core. The warmth from it seeped into her suit, spreading through her body. Not uncomfortably, but as if the ship itself welcomed her presence. Focus on learning, she said quietly. Let it guide us. Don't push it. We need to understand, not control. The corridor behind them shifted slightly, closing and opening like breathing lungs. The walls glowed softly, projecting images that changed as the explorers moved. Dr. Soren pointed at a projection. A towering alien city on a distant planet. Its buildings organic in shape, flowing as if alive. It's showing me history, he whispered. These civilizations, they lived and fell long before humans existed. The knowledge stored here, it's extraordinary. Lieutenant Kara frowned. Extraordinary, yes, but also dangerous. We don't know why this ship exists or why it's here. We need to proceed carefully. Leora nodded. She understood Kara's caution. Humanity had faced dangers before, but few discoveries were as mysterious as this. We proceed carefully, she agreed. But remember, we are humans. We learn. We adapt. That is our strength. And this vessel, whatever it is, seems to recognize that. Dr. Soren's hand hovered above the core again, and the vessel responded. Streams of light traveled from the sphere into the air, forming shapes that resembled neurons, or perhaps networks of stars. Leora felt a sudden surge of understanding, not in words, but in ideas, concepts flowing directly into her mind. The vessel was trying to communicate, and humans, with their unique combination of curiosity, empathy, and adaptability, could receive its message. This is remarkable, Dr. Soren said, voice trembling. Other species might have failed here. But humans, we can connect. We can learn from it without fear. The vessel pulsed in response, brightening and dimming rhythmically, almost like it was acknowledging him. Leora stepped forward, placing her hand near his shoulder. Do not rush, she said. Let it guide us. Observe and respond. That is how humans communicate, with respect and patience. As they moved deeper into the chamber, the patterns on the walls shifted again, forming symbols that were unlike any language humans had seen. Yet somehow, the meaning was clear. The vessel was alive, conscious, and curious about them. It was as if it was asking a question without words, testing whether these humans were worthy of its knowledge. The explorers paused at a doorway that seemed to shimmer in and out of reality. Beyond it lay a spiral of corridors that descended deeper into the vessel. Leora felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. This is what we came for, she said softly. Not just to find a ship, but to learn, to understand, to make a connection. The team followed her down the spiral corridors. The hum grew louder, richer, and almost musical. The walls pulsed gently, responding to their movements, and even to their emotions. Kara looked uneasy. It's like it can feel us, she said. Like it knows what we're thinking. That's exactly it, Leora replied. And that is what makes humans special. We are capable of empathy, understanding, and courage. This vessel, whatever it is, can sense that. That is why it responds to us when it ignored others, or when other species could not comprehend it. They reached a wide chamber where the floor was smooth and metallic, reflecting the soft glow of the walls. At the center, the core pulsed brighter than ever, sending waves of energy across the room. Leora could feel it, a subtle pressure in her mind, almost like a gentle push to open herself to new understanding. Dr. Soren stepped forward again, his eyes reflecting the pulsing light. "Commander, it's offering knowledge. If we can receive it, I can feel concepts flowing into me, mathematics, physics, even ideas about life and consciousness itself. It's teaching, but in a way that requires patience and trust." Leora nodded. "We humans have always learned through observation, experimentation, and empathy. This is just another challenge, a larger, stranger classroom. Let's take it step by step." As they settled around the core, the hum shifted, becoming more melodic, more intentional. The vessel was alive, and it was choosing to engage them. The walls displayed visions of distant worlds, alien cities, and creatures of unimaginable complexity. It was as if the ship wanted them to see the universe through its eyes, to understand the scale and beauty of existence beyond humanity's small home planet. "This is incredible," whispered Dr. Soren. "It's showing us not just knowledge, but perspective, a way to see the universe as a whole. Other species might have turned away in fear or confusion, but humans, we are uniquely capable of understanding." Kara crossed her arms, still wary. "And what if we fail? What if we misinterpret something and trigger a reaction we can't control?" Leora smiled faintly. "Then we adapt, as humans always have. We learn from failure. That is what sets us apart. We do not fear the unknown. We explore it, and we grow stronger because of it. That is what this vessel is testing." Suddenly, the core pulsed sharply, sending a ripple of energy through the chamber. Leora felt a strange vision, a memory not her own. She saw a planet being formed, life emerging, civilizations rising and falling. She saw stars explode and galaxies collide, all in a flow of understanding that transcended words. "It's showing us history," Dr. Soren said, voice trembling. "Not just of its kind, but of the universe itself. The knowledge here, it's beyond anything humans have imagined. And yet, somehow, it's giving it to us." Leora took a deep breath, letting the visions wash over her. She realized then that the vessel was not just a machine, but a teacher, a guide, a living archive of the cosmos, and it had chosen humans as its students. The team spent hours in the chamber, absorbing knowledge in ways that went beyond words or reading. They felt as if their minds had expanded, their senses sharpened, their understanding deepened. The vessel responded to every question, every movement, every thought, adapting to their curiosity. By the time they rested, Leora felt a profound sense of connection. The vessel was alive, and it had recognized something uniquely human in them. The combination of curiosity, empathy, courage, and adaptability. That combination allowed humans to see, understand, and learn in ways no other species could. "Commander," Kara said finally, her voice quieter than before. I think it trusts us, or at least, it's testing us in a way that shows it expects us to succeed." Leora nodded. "Yes, and that trust is a responsibility. We must proceed with care, with respect, and with the understanding that we are part of something far greater than ourselves." Dr. Soren stepped closer to the core, hands hovering above it without touching. "It's offering more," he said. "It wants to show us more. But it's waiting for us to prove that we are ready, that we can handle the knowledge without fear, without arrogance, without harm." The hum shifted again, rising and falling like a living melody. Leora felt it in her chest, in her mind, in her very soul. The vessel was alive, and it was alive in a way that demanded respect and understanding. "We are humans," she said softly, more to herself than anyone else. "We explore. We learn. We adapt. We face the unknown and grow stronger because of it. That is why it has chosen us. That is why we are here." The chamber pulsed gently around them, light and energy flowing in harmony with their movements. Leora realized that this was only the beginning. The vessel had much to teach, and they had much to learn. Every moment spent here was a step toward understanding the universe, and toward proving that humans were capable of rising to challenges beyond imagination. As the night stretched on, the explorers continued their work, observing, learning, and connecting. The vessel hummed softly, a living presence that seemed to breathe with them, respond to them, and guide them. Leora felt a sense of awe unlike anything she had ever experienced. Humanity was not alone, and in this moment, they were being shown that their curiosity, courage, and empathy were gifts that could open doors no other species could. Outside, the moonlight reflected off the frozen plains, silent and cold. Inside, the vessel pulsed, breathed, and lived. And within its heart, humans were beginning to learn, to grow, and to connect with knowledge far beyond their own. For Leora and her team, this was not just exploration, it was a beginning. A beginning that promised discovery, understanding, and a bond that could change the course of humanity forever. And the old vessel, once silent and hidden under the ice, hummed softly, welcoming them into its living memory, as if it had been waiting all along for humans to arrive. The core of the vessel pulsed with a steady rhythm, and the explorers had begun to feel it as much in their hearts as in the walls around them. Commander Leora Vance led her team deeper into the living corridors, following the pulses of energy that seemed to guide them. The vessel was alive in a way that made every step feel purposeful, like walking through a mind rather than a machine. Dr. Soren's eyes shone with excitement. "Commander, it's showing me patterns in the stars, ways civilizations communicate across light years, methods of travel and energy that we've never even theorized." He paused, the glow of the core reflecting in his visor. "And it's giving us this knowledge slowly, step by step, testing our understanding. If we fail to comprehend, it stops, waits, and then nudges us to think differently." Leora nodded. "That's why it responded to humans. We adapt. We try. We learn. Even when the challenge seems impossible. That is what sets us apart. That is why it is teaching us." The team followed the pulses of light deeper, moving into a chamber larger than any they had entered. The walls were lined with patterns that shimmered like living circuits. "Doctor." Soren reached out toward one and gasped as it rippled under his touch, sending waves of images across the room. Ancient star systems formed, rose, and fell. Alien ships traversed the void in trails of colored light. Entire histories played out in minutes, yet the explorers understood them in ways that defied conventional learning. Lieutenant Kara frowned, still uneasy. "All this knowledge, it's overwhelming. What if we misinterpret something? What if we cause harm by mistake?" Leora placed a hand on her shoulder. "We proceed carefully. That is all we can do. Humans are capable of understanding, because we combine curiosity with caution. That balance is rare, and the vessel recognizes it." The core pulsed brighter, and the hum shifted, rising in intensity. Leora felt it in her chest, in her mind, in every part of her being. The vessel was reacting to them. Not as intruders, but as partners. It was testing them not with fear, but with trust. As they moved further, the corridors opened into a central chamber unlike anything the team had seen. A massive organic structure stretched from floor to ceiling, a lattice of glowing material that seemed to pulse with the heartbeat of the universe. Streams of light connected the lattice to the central core, and the hum now filled the entire vessel with a vibration that was almost physical. Dr. Soren whispered, This is the brain of the vessel. It's alive, fully conscious, and aware of everything within it. It's trying to connect with us directly." Leora stepped closer to the lattice, feeling the warmth radiate through the floor and into her suit. "We have to be careful," she said softly, "but we also have to engage. This is a test of humanity itself. Curiosity, courage, and empathy, these are our strengths. That is why it responds to us." The vessel pulsed again, and suddenly Leora saw a vision, a planet burning, a civilization destroyed by its own hubris. She felt fear, sorrow, and a deep understanding of consequence. Then another vision followed, showing a thriving society working together, learning from mistakes, building something lasting. It was teaching them not just knowledge, but wisdom. Dr. Soren stepped forward, his hands raised but not touching the lattice. It's offering more than technology or maps. It's offering understanding. It's showing us patterns of success and failure across the galaxy. We can learn from this, if we listen and respect it. Leora nodded, feeling the same. Humans have always survived by learning, by adapting. That is why it shares this with us. It tests us, but it trusts us to make sense of it. Other species might have turned away, might have failed, but we can understand. The team spent hours in the central chamber, receiving visions, processing patterns, and discussing what they learned. Each member of the crew felt their minds expand. The vessel was teaching them to think not as individuals, but as a species capable of understanding the universe in ways that others could not. Suddenly, the lattice pulsed sharply, and the hum became more insistent. Leora felt a jolt of energy, a signal that the vessel wanted something more. She stepped closer to the core. "It's asking for connection," she said. "We must engage fully. Not with fear, not with force, but with trust and understanding." Dr. Soren nodded. "I think it wants to merge knowledge with us, to test if humans can carry its wisdom without losing themselves. It's a symbiosis, not control." Leora took a deep breath. She closed her eyes and let her mind open, letting the hum, the lattice, and the core reach her thoughts. She felt the vessel probing gently, asking questions without words, seeking understanding. And in that moment, she realized that humans were uniquely capable of this. Their empathy allowed them to connect, their curiosity drove them to explore, and their courage let them face the unknown without panic. The hum shifted, responding to her, and suddenly the visions became more personal. Leora saw glimpses of her past, her decisions, her successes and failures. The vessel was testing not just their intelligence, but their character. It wanted to know if humans could be trusted with knowledge that could change civilizations. Kara stepped forward hesitantly. "It's reading us," she said quietly. "But not to harm. It's judging our choices, our intentions. It's testing us morally as well as intellectually." Leora nodded. "Yes. That is why it responds to humans. We are not just capable of knowledge. We are capable of understanding its value, of making decisions with empathy and foresight. That is rare. That is why we have a chance here." The team moved together, hands hovering near the lattice without touching. The vessel pulsed in response, streams of light connecting to them, sharing insights in a way that bypassed language. They saw civilizations thrive and fail. They saw technology bloom and collapse, and they saw patterns of behavior that repeated across galaxies. And they understood, not as machines, not as programs, but as humans capable of learning, of adapting, of connecting. Hours passed, or perhaps minutes. Time seemed to lose meaning inside the living vessel. Leora felt a growing sense of unity between her team and the ship. The hum was no longer just sound, it was a conversation, a dialogue of energy, thought, and feeling. They were partners, not intruders, Dr. Soren gasped, stepping closer to the core. "Commander, it's letting us touch its mind directly. I can feel entire star systems, civilizations, and knowledge streaming into me. But it's not overwhelming. It's balanced. It trusts us to comprehend, to process, to grow." Leora felt the same. "This is human uniqueness," she said softly. "We can handle what others cannot. We combine curiosity with empathy, intelligence with care, courage with patience. That is why it shares with us." The lattice pulsed brighter, and for the first time, the vessel emitted a low, harmonious tone that seemed to synchronize with their own heartbeats. Leora realized that this was more than teaching. This was a bond. The vessel had chosen humans not just as students, but as companions in understanding the universe. Kara finally smiled, her tension easing. I can feel it too. It's like it's alive, and it wants us to succeed. It's trusting us. Yes, Leora said. And that trust is not given lightly. We must honor it, learn from it, and grow stronger because of it. Humans have always risen to challenges beyond imagination. That is our gift. That is why we are capable of this. The team spent the rest of what felt like a day in the central chamber, receiving knowledge, connecting, and learning to interpret the patterns the vessel shared. It showed them ways to harness energy, navigate the stars, and understand civilizations that existed light years away. But more importantly, it showed them how to think, how to weigh choices, how to balance curiosity with care. As the explorers finally rested, Leora looked at the core and felt a deep sense of responsibility. Humanity had been given access to knowledge that could change their species forever. The vessel had judged them, tested them, and chosen them. And humans, with their courage, empathy, and intelligence, had proven worthy. Outside, the icy moon remained silent, indifferent to the events unfolding within the vessel. Inside, the hum continued, steady and alive. A heartbeat that matched the explorers. Leora felt a profound connection not just to the ship, but to the universe itself. Humanity had always dreamed of the stars. And now, the stars were responding. She turned to her team. We have learned more than I ever imagined. But this is only the beginning. The vessel has shared its knowledge because it trusts us. We must honor that trust, continue to learn, and grow as humans capable of shaping our future. Dr. Soren nodded, eyes shining. It's given us a glimpse of the universe itself. And we can share it, teach it, expand it. Humanity is ready for this. Kara smiled, finally at ease. Then let's do it. Let's rise to the challenge, as humans always have. The core pulsed, brighter and stronger, as if acknowledging her words. The vessel had tested them, shared its wisdom, and now it awaited the next step. Humanity had proven itself. Not through force, not through conquest, but through curiosity, courage, and empathy. And in that moment, Leora realized that the bond they had formed with the vessel was just the beginning. Humans were capable of connecting with intelligence far beyond their understanding, capable of navigating challenges no other species could face, and capable of rising to heights that would shape the destiny of civilizations. The hum continued, a living melody of energy, thought, and connection. And humanity, for the first time in the heart of a distant, living vessel, felt the power and responsibility of being truly remarkable. The old vessel, once silent and buried beneath the ice, was alive. And now, humans had proven they were worthy companions. The hum of the vessel had become familiar to the explorers, no longer an alien sound but a rhythm they could feel in their own chests. Commander Leora Vance led her team through the central chamber, where the organic lattice glowed brighter than ever. The ship had awakened fully, its consciousness no longer tentative but confident, aware of the humans who had proven themselves worthy. Dr. Soren's eyes were wide with awe. Commander, it's responding to us in ways I never imagined. The vessel, it's teaching us to pilot itself, to interact as if it's alive, but with guidance. It wants cooperation, not control. Leora nodded. We've earned its trust. And now, we have a choice. We can remain observers, or we can become partners. Humans have always chosen the path of challenge, of exploration, of growth. That is what we must do now. The team moved toward the core, hands hovering above the pulsing sphere. Streams of light extended from it, wrapping around their hands, arms, and suits. A surge of energy coursed through them, not painful, but invigorating, sharpening their senses and understanding. Leora felt her mind open in ways she had never known, a direct connection to the vessel's consciousness. She could sense its intent, its vast knowledge, and its care for them. "This is incredible," whispered Dr. Soren. "I can feel star systems, technologies, and knowledge flowing through me. But it's balanced. The vessel trusts us to process it correctly." Leora closed her eyes, letting the vessel guide her. She felt its awareness extend beyond the ship itself. Across space, across time, she saw civilizations rising and falling, not as mere events, but as interconnected patterns. She saw the fragility of life, the beauty of cooperation, and the potential of human ingenuity. Kara stepped forward, her skepticism replaced by wonder. "It's sharing everything. I feel like we can see the universe from its perspective, understand the choices and consequences that shape entire worlds." "Yes," Leora said softly. "And that perspective is now ours to carry. Humans are unique. We can understand knowledge not just for survival, but for wisdom. That is why it chose us, why it trusts us." The vessel pulsed, and the central chamber seemed to expand, corridors and walls adjusting as if to make space for their understanding. Leora realized that the ship was offering them more than information. It was offering partnership, a chance to act as stewards of its knowledge, to take part in a symbiotic relationship that could change humanity's place in the galaxy. Dr. Soren looked around, eyes shining. "Commander, the vessel is showing us advanced technology, ways to harness energy, faster than light navigation. But it's also showing us moral decisions, patterns of cooperation, and ways civilizations thrive without conflict. It's teaching us to think, not just act." Leora nodded. "That is humanity's greatest strength. We do not merely react. We learn. We plan. We create solutions that respect life and knowledge. That is why it trusts us, why it has chosen to share its legacy." They spent hours or perhaps days. Time felt distorted inside the living vessel, learning and synchronizing with its systems. The hum had become a song of connection, a melody that resonated with their very beings. Leora realized that this was more than education. It was transformation. The humans were becoming part of the ship, and the ship was becoming part of them. Suddenly, the core pulsed sharply, and the vessel emitted a wave of energy that extended beyond the ship, sweeping across the moon's surface. The ice trembled slightly, and the air seemed to shimmer with power. Leora understood immediately. The vessel was preparing for a new stage, a step that required not just understanding, but action. "We are ready," she said quietly, more to herself than anyone else. "We are humans. We explore, we learn, and we grow. We are capable of this." Kara looked at her. "Ready for what?" "We've learned so much already. This is the next step," Leora replied. "The vessel is alive, and it trusts us. It wants us to act as partners, to pilot it, to carry its knowledge and expand it. That is why we are here." Dr. Soren's eyes sparkled. "Then let's do it. Let's rise to the challenge. Humanity has always faced the unknown and turned it into progress. This is no different. This is our moment." The core pulsed again, brighter than ever, sending streams of light that intertwined with the team's suits and minds. Leora felt a surge of understanding and confidence. They could pilot the vessel together, synchronize with its consciousness, and navigate the stars as one. It was an unprecedented bond between humans and alien intelligence, a partnership that could shape civilizations. As they moved through the ship, learning to control its systems, the vessel responded intuitively. Its corridors shifted to accommodate them. Its energy flowed where needed, and its consciousness guided them with care. Leora realized that humans were not merely passengers, they were collaborators. Their empathy, creativity, and courage made them worthy of this trust. Hours passed, and the team finally reached the observation deck, a vast space with windows looking out onto the gas giant and its moons. Stars stretched endlessly, and the vessel seemed to extend its awareness into the cosmos itself. Leora felt the hum resonate with the stars, a living melody that connected them to the universe. "This is extraordinary," Dr. Soren said, gazing at the view. We can see possibilities, choices, and paths across galaxies, and we are now capable of acting within them, wisely and responsibly. Leora smiled. That is humanity. We are capable of more than survival. We are capable of wisdom, of cooperation, of shaping the future. That is why the vessel trusts us, and why we can carry its knowledge forward. Suddenly, the vessel shifted, rising slowly from the frozen moon's surface. Streams of light wrapped around it, shimmering like a living shield. The hum grew louder, harmonizing with their heartbeats. Leora realized they were leaving the moon behind, but the bond remained. Humanity had become part of the vessel, and the vessel, part of humanity. Kara exhaled, awe in her voice. We're flying, and it feels alive. It's guiding us, but we are guiding it too. We're partners. Yes, Leora said, gripping the console that now responded to thought as much as touch. And that is the essence of humanity. We explore. We connect. We adapt. That is why we survive, why we thrive, and why we are capable of this moment. Dr. Soren reached out, touching the vessel's inner interface. Streams of light connected to him, showing the trajectory of entire star systems, possibilities for travel, and patterns of life across the galaxy. Commander, we can bring knowledge to humanity, guide civilizations, and prevent mistakes others have made. This is the future, Leora nodded. And we will. We will share what we can, learn what we must, and honor the trust given to us. Humans are unique, and this partnership proves it. The vessel hummed in harmony, its pulse now steady and confident. It was alive, and humanity had proven worthy of that life. Together, they could explore distant galaxies, uncover lost civilizations, and understand the universe in ways no species had before. As the team settled into their new roles as pilots and partners, Leora looked out at the endless stars. Humanity had always dreamed of the stars, and now, the stars responded. The vessel hummed gently, a melody in sync with human heartbeats, a symbol of trust, understanding, and the remarkable potential of humans. This is only the beginning, Leora said softly. Humans are explorers, learners, and pioneers. And together, with this vessel, we will rise to every challenge, illuminate the unknown, and shape the destiny of our species. The hum continued, soft and steady. A living rhythm that promised knowledge, adventure, and hope. And humanity, for the first time in the heart of a living vessel, felt the full measure of its potential. They were not just explorers, they were partners, custodians, and architects of a future that stretched across the stars. The old vessel, once buried and silent beneath ice, now soared among the stars, alive and vibrant. And humans, its chosen companions, carried within them the courage, empathy, and ingenuity that made them truly remarkable. The universe had opened its doors, and humanity had stepped boldly into its heart. The stars stretched endlessly, and the hum of the vessel, in perfect harmony with human hearts, carried the promise of a future where exploration, understanding, and courage would define the destiny of a species unlike any other.